All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Adam Baker here with the National Weather Service in Peachtree City, and I've got 101 on my clock, so we'll get started here. All right, to sum up what we'll look at over the next week, we're going to round out the end of the work week dry and chilly. We still have some lingering river flooding, mainly in the southeast, that we've dealt with for seems like about a month now. And if you, for some reason, a few of you missed the rain, well, then there's good news for the weekend. It's coming back, but it should be a fairly quick system, but unfortunately it is over the weekend. It's going to be mainly a cold, steady rain with some light wintry mix in the northeast mountains. We aren't expecting much accumulation at the moment with it, but just monitor over the next couple of days if we do change some of the expected amounts and impacts with that. Currently across the area, we do have some gusts that are lingering out of the northwest. Most temps are approaching the 40s right now, some 50s in the far south. And then as far as the rivers go that I mentioned, there's a few areas in the southeast that are still in minor flooding. Abbeville is currently in moderate flood. We don't anticipate any others to reach moderate, but there could be another one or two that go into minor. But again, they're mostly confined to the southeast. So we did have some chilly wind chills this morning. Most were in the upper teens around a lot of the area. Again, for tomorrow morning, they should be a little bit higher as far as what's going to feel like out there, but we don't think anything that would warrant an advisory. We think it should feel about in the mid-20s, maybe in the low 20s in the north mountains. So the main system we're going to be watching is approaching the area late Friday night. The onset of any precip would be early Saturday morning. We do have a fairly strong upper level system here that's going to draw in some increasing moisture off the northern Gulf. The thing that we're watching is near the surface, a wedge of cold airs at the same time is going to be building in from the northeast, and that will be persisting into Sunday and early Monday. But as you can see by that time, really, once we get through Saturday night, the moisture does start to push farther east, and then we could have some that lingers on the northern side, somewhat behind the system going into early Monday. The overall chances of precip here, you can see we start to get into likelies above 50 or 60% for Saturday in the northern majority, and then Saturday night would be the period for the most widespread rainfall. We look pretty much 90% area wide, and then Sunday starts to linger a little bit more in the east and the north, but we still do have a general chance across most of the area, and even Monday could be a little bit lingering early in the day in the north. So if we break it down to the types of precip that we're looking at, if we start on the left, you can see that it's mainly a widespread cold rain. But in the far northeast, we could see some light snow or sleet. We're going to be watching the surface temperatures closely with it. The good news is we don't think any of the rainfall is going to be that heavy. So if there are going to be any amounts that would be of note, they should be all pretty light. For Saturday night into Sunday morning, we start to see a little bit of a transition possibly to a light freezing rain in some of the northeast mountains. Could be mixture of some sleet in there too. That's why we're calling it a wintry mix, just to sum up the whole period here. But then Sunday PM into Monday, that backside of the system could have a rain to snow, like a light snow transition in some of the higher elevations. So we don't think it would be any farther south than what you see right now. But if we look at the temperatures throughout that period, most spots are going to be in the mid-30s to low 40s. Again, the coldest time could be near that onset early Saturday morning for some of these areas in the north. But as you can tell, that there could be a few pesky little areas that maybe above 2,000 feet that could be a few spotty freezing marks. So that's something that we're going to have to really dissect as we get closer. Total rainfall, pretty much 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch, the highest being in North Georgia and parts of the east. So again, nothing that would warrant a flood watch of any kind right now, but again, the main factor would be, focusing in the far northeast with the surface temperatures. So here's 2 points. I picked Blairsville for the top, just so you can see the difference in the temperatures with the Atlanta forecast. First part of the 7-day forecast is going to be dry and pretty much below normal temperatures. Then we go through that weekend system, lingers into Monday. And then to go into next week, we're going to have a return of dry conditions and near where we pretty much should be this time of year. Beyond the next week, we don't see much of a signal on the right as far as temperatures, if it's going to be above or below normal. But as far as chances of abnormally wet conditions, we do have an increase. It looks like the pattern could be a little bit more active as we go into the second week with it. But again, we don't have a clear signal on if it's going to be colder or warmer than normal. So again, just to sum up, we're going to focus on the far northeast mountains for the temperatures with this system over the weekend. So I do stress just monitor updates over the next few days if we think anything's going to change. So at this point, I will open it up to questions.